What's going on, guys? Fights with Friends here. We got the Ultimate Fighter, Stipe Miocic versus Daniel Cormier, undefeated. First season in the history of the Ultimate Fighter that every single one of these dudes has never tasted defeat. I'm your host, Mike, of Fights with Friends, and you've tuned into the greatest Fight Companion stream on YouTube. How's everybody doing? A bit of life fucking there. Who here's watched Ultimate Fighter? Who here is Ultimate Fighter virgins?
I love the fight against Stipe, and I love the ability and opportunity.
What's going on, Roberto Rodriguez? Thanks for tuning in, man. Have you watched the Ultimate Fighter before? I've heard of some people on here that actually have never watched the Ultimate Fighter. And this could be one of the best seasons ever. This is certainly the best night. The first night, we get nothing but fights. You get brief introductions usually of most of these guys, and then you get to see big fights right off the bat.
I'm so excited. I hope I can help you guys.
Because these guys they have to win now to get into the house. They started that, I think, about 6 seasons ago. It's going to be lightweights and featherweights. Of course, your coaches are Daniel Cormier and Stipe Miocic. At the end of the season, they'll be fighting each other on pay-per-view, which I will be calling the Fight Companion here, of course. You guys can watch along on Fox Sports 1. You can hear Cormier coaching his guys and evaluating people there.
The fight's so short. In these competitions, wrestlers do well because they control and dictate the fights. I'll learn you guys' names, I promise. Each and every one.
He hasn't even learned their names yet. He doesn't need to learn their names until they win a fight to get in the damn house. I wouldn't bother learning their name until they win that first fight. That's just me. Why waste your time?
Good work, guys. Good work, guys.
Daniel Cormier, of course, Daniel Cormier just signed, believe it or not, a contract with a high school coaching their wrestling team. That's pretty badass.
Time. Go get some water, guys.
You guys look good, man. You guys look great, dude. Honestly.
And
Nice to meet you. You guys.
Stipe, of course, the full-time firefighter, full-time superhero, full-time UFC champion. And these two happen to be my favorite fighters in all of the UFC. So it's going to be a little tough for me to watch the actual fight. So I'm going to have fun. The worst part of it is I'm going to have to see one of these guys lose, but that's the UFC. The fighters fight, and
Okay, that's nice. Time. My God, it's been a good season.
we just got to hope for a great fight every time. And I hope we see a lot of them tonight. We can go through this, Coach. Oh, and here comes Dana. Here comes Stipe. Here comes Cormier.
This season, we're doing something that we've never done before.
We're talking about the team selection
If you
here.
look around at all your fighters here, you all have one thing in common. You are all undefeated.
It's like Dana said, first time
Only 2 of
it's
you
ever been
will remain undefeated.
all these guys are
With
undefeated.
contracts.
One person from each weight division will get a UFC 6-figure contract.
One of the baddest, in my opinion,
And they're going to get some of the best coaching on the fucking planet from Stipe Miocic and Daniel
we could
Cormier.
not ask for 2 better mentors. And now we're going to pick teams. I'm going to flip this coin.
Wait, what's going on here? So they're gonna pick teams.
In blue,
Something changed
is
here.
Stipe's team. So whoever wins the coin toss can either pick the first fighter or pick the first
I think
fighter.
something changed here. I don't think we're gonna see these guys fight. Nobody updated me on this. We'll see what happens. They just flip the coin to see who gets to pick first.
No way. Let's leave it. 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 Let's leave it.
It looks like Daniel Cormier gets the first pick.
What do you want? You want to pick the first fighter or pick the
little bit of a crazy roll there, but what's going on, Adriana Flores? Thanks for tuning in. This is the Ultimate Fighter, Daniel Cormier and Stipe Miocic. They're making their picks right now. You can watch along on FS1. Hope we get to see some fights here. Every single fighter this season is undefeated. There's featherweight, Tyler Diamond. It's going to be featherweights and lightweights. 16 undefeated gentlemen.
It doesn't matter, we're all undefeated. So I think
Kyler Phillips, featherweight.
all of us, we're all coming with guns blazing. You know?
First pick for Stipe Miocic.
Bryce Mitchell.
Daniel Cormier picks Bryce Mitchell for his second pick.
My next fighter is going to be lightweight Richie Smullen.
All right, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who these guys pick.
Mike Trezano?
I said they're all
My
undefeated.
next fighter is lightweight Luis Pena.
I predict in this season I'm going to become the breakout star.
This guy's got the big, huge fro with a pick. I love this guy's name is Violent Bob Ross. He's my favorite. He's my favorite fighter on this so far, just by his look. He's got the big Bob Ross fro with the hair pick, and he calls himself the Violent Bob Ross. John Gunther, I've seen this guy. I think I've seen this guy before. He's got the cartoon mustache going on there.
Joe Giannetti.
That's kind of
Jose
cool.
Martinez?
Brad Katona.
Jay Cuccinella?
Dorky guy with the glasses always gets picked last and surprises everybody. So here's the thing: if you're on the Ultimate Fighter and you want to sneak up on people, you want to sneak up on people ever, and hope that they don't know that you're tough. Wear glasses, whether you can see good or not. For some reason, people think you can't fight. People see my glasses, they think I can't fight. So, test me. And there's
You get to pick the first fight. Who do you got?
First fight,
Lightweight John Gunther.
lightweight John Gunther, dude with the crazy mustache. So he's taking his top pick
Joe Giannetti.
against Joe Giannetti. So that's generally the way they do it, is they'll take who they think their top guy is, put it against who they think the weakest link is on the other team. It's not always a strategy, but that a lot of times is the way that they do to try to pick guys off. And I said this one's tough to pick, though. None of these guys have ever lost a fight. They've worked out with them some, but they don't know what they're getting into. Daniel Cormier just said his guy Joe says he could fight in the UFC right now. He could fight at that level. And he's one of his last picks. If not his last pick. So
I don't care how good you are or how tough you are, it's going to be the hardest thing.
Matei says there's only going to be 2 out of these 16 guys that are undefeated
Every time you fight to win this thing.
at the end of this thing. And they'll be fighting, of course, on the Ultimate Fighter finale. They always put some other great fights together on that card. And that's a card all on its own. And now they get into the house. I can just imagine the psychology of living with 15 other guys. And they're still there. See, they filmed this, and now they got to wait. They filmed this several weeks ago. And now they have to wait for us to watch it. They're sitting in the house waiting. Some of these guys are lost, and they're waiting. And they've got to deal with these 15 guys, good, bad, or ugly, that have been getting on their nerves. like Diego Corrales taking all the asparagus spears and putting them in the blender, or
Come on, Dom, is that all you got?
Yes.
Oh.
like my man,
do you ask for it clean? I'm out of here.
Metro PCS brings you closer to
like my man Shoney Carter waking up at 2 o'clock in the morning playing pool.
Covers 99% of people in the US. Metro PCS.
Hey, it's a head game the whole way through. What's going on, Jason? Just waiting for you, man. You watch Ultimate Fighter 16, undefeated dudes in one house. Could you imagine living with 15 guys for like 12 freaking weeks, dude? I cannot.
Complete protection for top engine performance. Pennzoil Synthetics. Make the switch.
Yeah, man, I had a hard enough time having one roommate. I had a roommate for a while, and he mostly slept and worked, and the dude still drove me nuts. I like to hang out with my friends, 5-6 hours. I'm good. I can hang out with guys 8-10 hours. I maybe go over and hang out with go visit a friends that are out of town for, a couple nights that's about it. I'm going on vacation with a couple friends for a week, and that's about the limit for me. People start to get on my fucking nerves. I can't imagine 15. What's up, Guajardo family? Thanks for tuning in. The same way I couldn't do it. Yeah, I don't know how these guys, I have friends when I was on Freight Winco, they basically had freaking frat houses, they'd room 5-6 guys. I'd freaking kill somebody. You imagine, I don't know if you've seen season 1, Diego Sanchez. They got a refrigerator full of asparagus, and he cuts all of the fucking spears off and throws them in the blender for his damn smoothie. So then you go into the fridge, and there's just bags of asparagus with no fucking spears on there. I'd be ready to spear his ass right there. That's all it would take for me. I love my asparagus. You can't have asparagus without spears. Come on. Come on now. I bet me and you would get along for a while, though, Jason, if anybody could get along. You seem like a cool guy.
Let's go.
You ever have roommates, Guajardo family? Everybody, one of these shows will have to have our craziest roommate, some craziest roommate stories. I have none of those because I can't live with people. That's just me. Yeah, bad experience as Guajardo family. It usually seems to end bad. 15 dudes. I could not wait to get into the cage with them. The fight would probably happen before we got into the cage. I'd be like Chris Lieben ripping the fucking door off by the end of the thing.
So if you're not prepared to fight everyone,
several of these guys, I think like 6 of these guys too, have flown in here from out of the country. One of these guys trains with Conor McGregor. He's from Ireland. There's somebody, I think, from Brazil. There's people from several different countries in here. I believe it's like 4 or 5 international guys, and then like 11 or 12 guys from in the States. So, and some of these guys, Tyler Diamond, featherweight, some of these guys form some really deep bonds that they take throughout their entire UFC career. Marcus Davis formed a deep bond with Hermes Franca. I actually talked with him when I was interviewed, and we talked about that. He's the one, Marcus Davis was a professional boxer, and he almost quit the UFC after the Ultimate Fighter finale, and Hermes Franca is like, dude, you're going to start training jiu-jitsu with me every day. And he became a good jiu-jitsu artist. Jason says, I've never had roommates. Tony Ferguson caused a lot of drama when he was on the show. I didn't see that season, believe it or not, actually. Guardo says, I have a fight on May 12th in LA. My brother is fighting for Cali Cage Wars for the belt lightweight. You have a fight and your brother? So you guys both fighting on the same card? I gotta have you guys on the show. I was thinking about I'm calling the Cage Wars too. I believe that's on UFC Fight Pass. What's your first name, man? Guajardo family. What's you and your brother's names? We're gonna watch you on UFC Fight Pass.
We're all so professional, you know.
Got a root for the subscribers, man. Fights on Sunday. I believe it's on Fight Pass, right? I was actually was never a fan of Ferguson because I got to know the real Tony on the show. Says Jason. I know they do a lot of things to make some of these guys look bad, but some of these guys just make themselves look bad. It doesn't matter what the camera guys do. Ronda Rousey got after him a lot. I know, talking about how they villainized her on the show, made her look bad. Well, she said some stupid shit on the show. She's very difficult to get along with. The violent Bob Ross. I love this guy. That's just by looks and listening to this guy. That's my favorite to win. That's the guy I hope he wins. He's on Team Cormier. He's got the big fucking fro and he's got a big hair pick. He calls himself the violent Bob Ross. That's as much as I know about any of these guys. Oh, Kane is there. Kane Velasquez is there coaching with him too. Angel Guajardo and Hector Guajardo. Our YouTube name is Guajardo Brothers. All right, I will be subscribing to you guys, Guajardo Brothers. Everybody subscribe to the Guajardo Brothers. You're fighting on Sunday.
Look here real quick. I want to make these positions.
Email me.
Right? We may not submit them.
Angel, Hector, one of you email me at Fights with Friends. If you can, get me your information. And I will try to get you, if you want, I'll try to get you live on the show tomorrow for MMA Live at 5. And I'll interview one of you or both of you, and we'll talk about your fights, get some guys hyped up, get you guys some coverage. Jay says some things are staged for sure, like the door that was made out of cardboard that Rampage ripped apart. Oh yeah, that was so obvious. I remember that was one of my favorite seasons, but yeah, that was so freaking obvious.
Our gym is known as one of the harder training gyms in the sport.
All right. Thank you, man. Yeah, email me, just like my name, fightswithfriends@gmail.com. And yeah, I'll get with you. We'll get together and do something on the show for you guys. And then on Sunday, I believe Cage Wars is on UFC Fight Pass, and I have it. So hopefully I'll be able to call you guys' fights live. That'd be pretty cool. And then we can have you on after on the show after you win, after your brother wins a championship. So good luck to both of you. I'm going to grab a drink real quick, guys. It's like we got a commercial break, so I'm going to grab a quick drink.
No one knows where it comes from. Why some have it and some don't. It's the fighting spirit. It consumes fear and weakness. It stands ready to fight whatever shape the battle takes. Because as long as there are battles, there will always be Marines.
This car is literally my baby, which is why I use Armor All Ultra Shine wash wipes. They effectively remove dirt, dust, and grime. There's no water.
That car is in tip-top shape.
We are both in tip-top shape. Armor All. It's easy to look good.
One piece of KFC all-white meat chicken.
All right. These people leaving. I just went to get a drink, guys. She said I would have to say most of the feuds are real because fighters aren't the best actors. I agree with you on that. You know it was one of the biggest feuds, and these guys still hate each other. And that's Dan Henderson and Michael Bisping. And Michael Bisping has never forgave Dan Henderson for that shot after the knockout when he hit him when he was unconscious. And I don't know why it's so easy to dislike Michael Bisping, but I got to admit, I fell into the trap. And Dan Henderson probably shouldn't have hit him. He probably shouldn't have hit him afterwards. But we were all watching it. We all pretty much enjoyed it.
It couldn't be easier. We'll be there in a heartbeat 7 days a week.
I remember my wife was not an MMA fan. She hadn't really watched. What finally got her to watch us from UFC was The Ultimate Fighter.
It couldn't be easier. We'll be there.
And we started watching actually on season 1. I watched. My kids were real young. Season 1, they're just a few years old, so they don't remember a whole lot. But she didn't really get into fighting until she seen Stephen Bonner and Forrest Griffin. And in her mind, that's still the greatest fight in the history of the UFC. I don't think it is still, because there's guys with better cardio, there's guys with better movement and stuff. But at the time, I mean, there was 10 million people at the peak of that watching that fight. I don't know that has ever been surpassed in the history of the UFC. This last UFC fight night on Fox peaked at 1.8 million. 10 million people is a lot of people watching a fight.
Hey Gunther, why are you always in different?
Unfortunately, only so much of America likes fighting.
What do you do?
Sure, alpacas.
Not everybody can be as cool as us. This guy with the mustache and the crazy eyes, he kind of freaks me out a little bit.
Just grab the thing by the head and bring its head down, so they all scream like.
Yeah, this guy creeps me out. I can't remember what they said his name was. Tyler Diamond's talking to him there. John Gunther. And he's fighting. DeLon Perry says John Gunther is different. Yeah, he's different. I don't want to jump on him too much. It's not his fault how he looks. But I said he acts a little weird too, but he is from Cleveland. He's from Stipe Miocic's hometown. So
you can see the frost.
So most of the people I've known from Ohio or Iowa are not the most entertaining people. Sorry if you're from Ohio or Iowa. I'm not sure why that is. The Midwest. Some of them are, though. I think Stipe would be a great guy to have a beer with.
There's a lot of downsides to living in a van, but there's also a lot of positives.
This guy John Gunther lives in a van. He's stir frying. They're showing him he's stir frying in a van.
So it's kind of convenient.
He's talking about the positives of living in a van. So you don't have to mow your lawn. I can't believe the dude's stir frying though. He's got a frying pan with all the vegetables and meat in his van. That's incredible.
Just because the size difference.
But you could save a lot of money, I guess, if you're in a place that's warm. I don't know, for a fighter, if you're training all the time. I don't know. I don't think it's for me, but I think I'd probably move into that van before I moved into that house with 15 other dudes, though. Oh, and he just jumped into the friggin' ice in his underwear. This is not an ice bath. Holy shit. This guy's like under the ice in like some Antarctic place in his underwear.
Oh no, I can't tell at all what direction I'm going.
Holy shit, he's got a line. They got a line there to see where he's at. This guy could easily drown. He just came up on the other side through this hole. Holy crap.
My parents' house.
I gotta say, I'd never seen anything like that.
I am the second of 10 children. We grew up like.
I respect Stipe. You can tell he's a stand-up guy. Cormier is cool. Yeah, like I said before, these are my two favorite fighters in the entire UFC. So that's what's going to be hard. I think it's hard is to see him fight at the end. But I think this might be one of my favorite seasons.
I really appreciate the fact that my parents let me pursue what I was interested in.
This guy was bucking hell and bucking bales of hay in the 8th grade. I can identify with that. I grew up in a small town in Walla. That's what we did. There was always work. most of us didn't have a full-time job, but during the summer there was always farm work. So I was out bucking hay. You were out building fences, painting shit, grapes. We had a lot of wine vineyards and stuff there. So, there was always.
Thinking a little different.
I was not shearing goats like this guy is though in high school. There's a llama. That's interesting. For sure. But yeah, that was the cool thing about growing up in a farm town and a partial wine town. It's basically just a big wine town. Now it used to be a wheat town. And hey, when I was growing up, and now it's almost primarily a wine town. But yeah, we picked grapes, we baled hay, we did all that stuff. My parents' house that they actually sold their house in town. We had a great vineyard, 12 acres. We sold it for $80,000 in like 1995. And I think that throws people off. I can beat you anywhere. That was my sophomore year of high school. That house is worth that property is worth almost $2 million now. They sold it for 80 grand. That's what it was worth at the time. I just don't think anybody's ready for a style like mine. What's going on, guys? Training with Kane. Now that's the coolest thing about this though, is these guys get to train. I mean, how much would you pay if you're a fighter to train with literally the absolute best fighters in the world? I mean, you're getting one-on-one wrestling training with Cain Velasquez, one-on-one striking training with Cain Velasquez, one-on-one wrestling training with Daniel Cormier. Are you kidding me? I talk about growing your game leaps and bounds. I know Tony Ferguson talked about, how valuable that experience was. Forrest Griffin talked about how much he learned from Randy Enchuk.
To win this fight.
A lot of these guys grew so much, and they get to spar with each other on their own team. Although some of them, you might not want to show too much because you might be fighting your partner even if he's on your team eventually. Excuse me, guys. I'm starving. I'm usually running all day until I sit down. It's for a stream or something like this.
My play style is just chaotic mess.
So I don't know about this John Gunther guy. I'm not sure if I'm going for him or not. Not sure what I think about him so far. But yeah, can you imagine? You talk about Stipe being a stand-up guy, though. Can you imagine your house is on fire and Stipe Miocic comes in through the door, saves your cat? I mean, I'm almost excited my house is on fire at that point. I'm like trying to shake his hand. He's trying to put the fire out. Like, dude, it's fucking Stipe Miocic. Can I get an autograph? Couch is burning. I wonder if he gets that. You got to wonder. And I don't know if you've seen Jason or anybody else seen Daniel Cormier with everything else he has to do. Is he's making himself as busy as Stipe. He just signed on to coach a high school wrestling team. I don't remember the name of the team, but they're 15th in the country, I guess. They've already won like 6 state championships. But man, what an experience in high school to have a guy like that coaching your team. I bet everybody wanted to be on the wrestling team after that. I bet they at least wanted to hang out.
The EDT yard sign stands route.
It's like if you're a quarterback in high school and Tom Brady wants to come in and coach you. Cormier has a lot going on, and he is so good technically. I don't think it will hurt him. Well, it's not going to be any more of a I don't think it's going to be a distraction at all. If anything, he's working with these guys. He's wrestling. He's doing something else. So, no, I don't see it as a negative at all, maybe even a positive. Man, I'm just DC going to win heavyweight is more he's natural weight.
A bit of this.
He does have a hard time. I don't know. I want to know kind of what Daniel Cormier's diet is, and I don't want to pick on the guy. Because it's like him, he doesn't look like Roy Nelson, but he's never, looks cut. He always looks like he's holding on to a decent amount of fat. So, and I feel bad. Some people just have really slow metabolisms, or that's just the shape of body. Obviously, he trains as hard or harder than anybody else in the game. But especially as you get older into your 30s, you got to have the diet on top of it. I know that as much as anybody. I'm running 8-10 hours a week or a day at work. My diet hasn't been great this last year. I put on weight. I got to get my shit back together. Jason said, if Cormier went to Hollywood, I would be worried. Yeah, that would be, for sure. Cormier was eating potato chips the other day. Damn, Jason said, I just hit 30, and I know what you mean. Yeah, when you hit 30, that's when the ball game changes. I'm actually going to hit 40 in September. It's a little depressing.
My name is Joe Giannetti, and I'm 22 years old. I live in Whitman, Massachusetts. It's about 15-20 minutes from Boston.
But so now we're going to get a look at the other guy here, Joe Giannetti, as his home video. So if you're cutting weight, don't ever come here. That looks delicious. I'm not a big sweet guy, but those cuts of meat. That's what I'm all about. The prime rib and the steak and the roast.
This Fraser. It's my homie. Had Fraser since he was about 4 months old. Got him from the city of Boston Animal Shelter. Come on, where's your ball? He's gonna do everything with me. I've been homeless a few times, so I mean.
Oh, this guy's getting on my good side already. He's been homeless. He's got a cool looking dog. He's an animal lover. South Shore Sport Fighting.
It's about 10 minutes from my house.
Hell yeah, I'm a huge roast fan, man.
About 230 pounds. I was only about 5'8".
Yeah, roast, steak, and ribs. I could eat that every night for sure.
Couldn't find a new one. Yeah, my brother. I'm gonna come back to UFC fighter. You got it. I'm undefeated, and I don't plan on losing in this competition. And I plan on becoming a UFC champion, undefeated. Vegas, coming for you. Yeah, working.
Now, I do all these guys being undefeated. I gotta say, it depends on your personality, if that's a positive or not. Obviously, it's a big positive for a lot of people because defeats never enter their mind. Rocky Marciano, greatest heavyweight champion of all time by the stats, retired 49-0, said he never let defeat enter his mind. That's what helped him mentally to knock out Jersey Joe Walcott in the 14th round of a 15-round fight that he was losing. Some of these guys, though, one loss, and it's like that's it. That's the end. They don't know how to deal with it. It's like a lot of people might say that about Ronda Rousey. She lost to Holly Holm. She took that head kick, and it's kind of like that's, that was kind of the end of it. And there was more to it. Of course, she refused to evolve her game or get a decent coach.
I've never been like the most finesse player.
But thanks for the thumbs up, guys. 10 thumbs up here.
Constantly.
Yeah, this guy, I just can't get over it, though. This guy, Johnny, he's got this creepy look on his face. I mean, I don't mean to pick on the guy, but God, he's got that creepy look that, like, if I'm in the house, I don't want to wake up be standing there having that guy looking over me. Oh wow, they're showing this fight. Gunther's just getting destroyed by this guy. I mean, his face is a mess. Absolutely destruction. And Gunther turns it around. Damn. What's going on, Eric? It's the Ultimate Fighter. So it's going to be John Gunther and whoever the other guy is. I can't remember. I just forgot who the other guy is. They're going to fight though. They made their picks. Well, thank you, Guajardo Brothers. Appreciate it. Everybody, welcome the Guajardo Brothers to the Fights of Friends family. Yeah, John Gunther and I can't remember the other guy that's fighting, but Daniel Cormier and Stipe Miocic picked their guys. Everybody on this season is undefeated. So you got 16 guys, 8 lightweights and 8 featherweights that are all undefeated. So you have that mindset of 16 guys that have never tasted defeat. And so hopefully we get a good fight this first week. I was hoping, like in past shows, that they would have to fight to get into the house. In past shows, you'd get 15, 16 fights that first week, and they'd show the best out of all that. This time, I guess we get undefeated guys. So when we get some story, and that's cool too.
Download the app today.
The Illuminati is something new for the masses. A blend of...
So yeah, everybody subscribe to Guajardo Brothers MMA. They fight for Cage Warriors. We're going to try to have them. They're going to email me. We're going to try to have them for a guest interview tomorrow on MMA Live at 5. Get with them, so learn a little more about them. And then on Sunday, they'll be fighting in Cage Warriors. So we'll try to watch that. We can watch that, of course, on UFC Fight Pass, I believe. So that'll be a lot of fun. It's cool to have some of the subscribers on this show to watch their fights, and we definitely support everybody here. It's kind of like our little family here. So, but it's getting bigger. We're almost at the 2,000 of us. So it's gonna be a big family.
Guys, no more excuses. It's time to hit your prime by boosting your total testosterone.
Eventually. And there's the bad thing is all these damn commercials on FS1. But man, what would you have to pay to get one-on-one training from guys with the experience of Daniel Cormier, Stipe Miocic, Cain Velasquez, back in the day? And I went to judo and jiu-jitsu clinics where we pay $120. I paid $120 for an hour clinic with Marco Huas back in 2002. An hour. I don't care how good the guy is. You're only going to learn so much in an hour. These guys get 10, 12 weeks. And he actually did teach me a cool move, a variation on my guillotine choke. And I actually did win. I would kind of credit his help a little bit on that match with that. So maybe it was worth $120. But that was my favorite thing in judo, is to choke people out. No, I just choke out shoplifters.
Look, you're number one. You're number one. You're the heavyweight champion of the world. Okay. I didn't have to go fight number one. I just did it because I'm.
See what we get for.
Hey, I'm a gangster. Because I'm a gangster.
Oh. DC says I'm a gangster, huh? He is a gangster. Don't give me.
Fighting right now Friday. Wait, guys, be quiet. You guys be quiet. You shouldn't get involved in this. I think you should tell me who you're gonna let fight Friday.
You should tell me who you should let fight Friday. DC trying to pull rank here.
That guy.
That's funny. I don't think Stipe is gonna give it up.
I picked Joe second. I think we should go 1-1.
I don't think Stipe is gonna give it up at all.
Let me talk my picks. Let me talk my coaches. It's the blue crew.
I come to you, olive branch in hand, saying, let's go 1-1, let's go 2-2, let's go 3-3, let's go 4-4. We picked guys in the fashion that we picked them because we thought the best guys we picked early.
3-3, 4-4.
Underdeveloped. We picked them towards the end. Well, let those guys that we picked towards the end fight each other, right? Let's give them a shot.
So May 12th, Cage Wars for the lightweight belt.
I'm not sure they're into that. But I think we're going to kind of stick to it. We're going to fight.
Let's see what's going on.
You look real slim today, Simon. Simon, you look pretty slim.
I'm sure we're going to get this on UFC Fight Pass on May 12th. Of course, that's also the day of UFC 224, Nunez and Peñas. But we got to support the Guajardo brothers, though, so we at least try to sneak in on their match. Wherever it is, I have to find it online. I'll call it, guys. Cage Warriors 93 on April 28th, and you guys are a little bit after that.
He thinks he can beat me, so if it goes down, he's going to get a whooping. I hope to God it's me.
So what's going on, Eric? We were just talking. If who's ever had roommates? We were talking about how in the hell do you live with 15 other guys? I can't live with one other person for 10 weeks. 15 guys, I might literally kill somebody. I'd be like Chris Leap and I'm ripping the door off. I'm busting a window or some shit by the end of this thing.
Close to the scale.
That's a good point, Jason. And you know, some of them over the times have been. I would imagine they're not open about it, but you know, some of those guys have been. I don't want to speculate on who, but
go to the ground, I think it'll be because somebody.
You know, you're careful. I guess you're careful. You sleep fully clothed. I don't know. I mean, it's not like they're gonna molest you in your sleep or something. I mean, I'm not like a homophobe or something, but I don't really want dudes checking me out. I don't think they shower together and stuff like that. Although, how many bathrooms do they have? I would imagine most of you shower probably at the UFC Training Institute. Because, they got bathrooms there in that house, but you'd have to have so many. So I imagine you get up in the morning, you go for your training, and then everybody showers together. So it's just like, I would imagine it's just like anything else, though, Jason, if you've ever been in a team sport. I mean, if you're on a football team and they all train together or whatever, and imagine a guy like Kimbo Slice over your bed when you wake up. Jesus, yeah, and they made him fight through the Ultimate Fighter, which they should have made freaking CM Punk. Kimbo Slice was a more accomplished fighter. I mean, he had a lot of fights online. He'd actually fought in Strike Force, and Dana made him get into the house, kind of used him as a publicity stunt. And, of course, that's when we found out about Roy Nelson. Roy Nelson, they made him go through the house too, though. And he'd been champion at International Fight League. But a lot of people didn't know about him. CM, that's one of the reasons so many people are so pissed at CM Punk just walking right into the UFC. And I can't blame them. Those same people should be pissed off at Mike Jackson, though. Because the guy who's fighting CM Punk, he has no more business in the UFC than CM Punk does. And honestly, if you want to make some money, I would bet on CM Punk for UFC 225. I've said this before. I interviewed Mike Jackson on here and watched the interview. I asked Mike Jackson, why do you want to fight CM Punk? And he said, I'm not a fighter. I'm a businessman. That tells me all I need to know. CM Punk's been training. he's been training with really good Muay Thai and kickboxing guys. He's been training with the Rufus brothers. Those guys are the best. Dude, I got to call this guy Crazy Eyes, John Gunther. This guy's eyes looks like he's like a bug out of his head. This other guy kind of looks like Nate Diaz, honestly. He's got that long, lengthy body. He's got kind of the same laid-back kind of attitude. Nate Diaz, of course, he was Nick's brother. He was a professional fighter. They made him come through the house. And he talked about how shitty that Ultimate Fighter contract was. He was actually fighting after winning the Ultimate Fighter. They talk about it being a 6-figure 3-year contract. Well, figure that out. $100,000 divided by 3 years. That's $33,000 a year. Nate was saying he was making for those first fights in the UFC 15 to show and 15 to win. Peter Jones, but no ground game. I wonder if he's working on and that is the thing. Mike Jackson, I know he's a wrestler. He is a wrestler. I have talked to guys in that area a little bit. I know some. There are some stories of him knocking guys out in sparring sessions. So, I mean, it's not like he's never fought before. He had his first amateur fight in 2009. He's bounced in and out of MMA since then. But he was 0-1 as an amateur. He's 0-1 as a pro. He actually lasted 40. That same opponent, Mickey Gall, Jackson actually lasted 45 seconds less than CM Punk. I don't think that means a whole lot. Both of them were gone in like less than 2 freaking minutes.
She was rejected just because she was a woman. But Olga refused.
But to double your money, I don't know. I don't know if I want to tell people to bet on CM Punk, but either way, he should have had to come through the house. Mike Jackson and CM Punk, both of them should have had to come. If Kimbo Slice had to come through the house, Nate Diaz, with his brother's experience, had to come through the house. I was saying Roy Nelson was the International Fight League champion. He had to come through the house. CM Punk sure as hell should have to come through the house. But, I could go on about it all day, but it is what it is. Everybody knows it's about name recognition. And I think it's a little bit of a black eye for the UFC. But you got guys, like Conor that most people don't believe is the top 145 or 155 pound guy out there. But he's marketable. If people want to see him fight, he sells the most pay-per-views, so he gets away with shit. He can throw dollies through bus windows. The guy gets away with shit. It's not a secret. Everybody knows it. What I would say to that, sometimes I agree with it. Sometimes I agree with putting the guy out there that people just want to see. Like everybody wants to see Nick and Nate Diaz fight right now. If Nate Diaz or Nick Diaz jumped in and got a title shot, especially if Nick Diaz, after being out, got a title shot against Tyron Woodley out of the gate, a lot of people would be legitimately pissed off. And that fight's been talked about. Tyron Woodley has said he wants that fight. He'd love to fight either one of them. It's a big money fight. A lot of people would be upset. A lot of people that have earned the right, especially RDA and Colby Covington, are fighting each other for that fake interim belt. I don't think Tyron Woodley's been out long enough to need an interim belt. But that being said, what I would say about putting people like Nate Diaz and Nick Diaz ahead of guys that have earned the shot, like a Colby Covington, is sometimes not a huge Conor fan, but he is the real deal. He's got power. He's got precision. He talks the talk. He walks the walk. And at the end of the day, sometimes you just want to take the pretty girl to the dance. That's how I compare it. You're in high school. You got the girl that she helps you with her homework. She carries your bags. She invites you over. Her parents cook dinner, whatever. You know, her friends are friends with your parents. But she's kind of normal. She's plain Jane. She's a little flat chested. She's got the glasses. She's a little dorky. And then there's the cheerleader. You know, there's the beautiful blonde cheerleader, and everybody knows she's going to be the prom queen. Sometimes you got to take the prom queen to the prom. And that's what Conor McGregor is. That's, you know, what a Nader Nick Diaz. I thought they were fighting tonight. Ha, silly me. No, Jones. Oh, here is a fight right now, though. John Gunther and Giannotti. Okay, we're going to call this Gunther in the blue, Giannotti in the orange. And I'm just going to call Gunther the crazy eyes, going for the takedown. Oh, wow. Giannotti just choked him out. Wow. That was straight up fucking gangster.
That's the winner so far this season, yeah.
That was straight up fucking gangster. Gunther went for a takedown and Giannotti just dropped for the guillotine choke. And I mean, it was like instant. He just turned his lights off. That had to have been deep. I didn't even know that he had sunk the choke in. And Gunther was completely off. I said, this guy reminds me of Nate Diaz, his long and lengthiness. He just showed he's got some Brazilian jiu-jitsu, and Gunther is getting up asking what the hell happened. Wow, Giannotti wins, and damn, one for the orange team. I don't know if you guys are watching this on FS1, but you want to look up that replay if you didn't see it. John Gunther went in for the takedown, and Giannotti just snapped that choke so fast. By the time I knew the choke was on, Gunther was out. They're going to show the replay here. Gunther's got a little weird look on his face. They're going to show this in slow-mo. Let's see. Oh, left hand. Left hand from Giannotti. He lands a knee to the body. Gunther pushing him up against the fence. Leaves his neck up. So deep. So deep. Giannotti sunk that thing in. Beautiful technique, too. With the second hand to hold it. I mean, that was just a drop.
And Joe probably was rolling to his back because that's how you defend guillotine. But we were already yelling, he's out, he's out.
He just instantly turned his lights out. I mean, it was like the flip of a switch. Wow. And DC gets the first win. Dana says, holy shit, Team Cormier with the orange, Giannotti the gangster, dropping the guillotine on John Gunther. John Gunther, no more undefeated. That dude had no clue where he was at. Winner advancing on, and that's Joe Giannotti. Wow. I mean, that was seconds. This guy was homeless. This guy had his dog living with him in his car. This could be one of the great stories of this season. And Dana just told him, you're going to finish in bonus. He said, snatching necks and cashing checks. I don't know that I've ever heard that term. If he just made that term up, that's a hell of a term. Snatching necks and cashing checks. I like it.
I'm like, oh no, this is weird. Like a weird perspective. What?
And Creepy Eyes is out of the house. That was my nickname for him. But Jones DC and Stipe, of course, will be fighting at the end of the entire thing. We'll have, I don't know, 8 weeks of this or whatever. Then you got the Ultimate Fighter finale at the end. And then Stipe and DC, of course, will end up fighting later on pay-per-view, unfortunately. But for the heavyweight championship. And Gustafsson on UFC tonight was already talking to DC. He says, win or lose, after you get done with Stipe, he says, I want you at 205. He said, you sell those tickets in Sweden. We'll get it on. Oh, he picks the nerdy dude in the glasses. Got to watch out for those nerdy dudes in the glasses. Haha. Look how different he looks with the glasses off. See, you go from Clark Kent to Superman sometimes, and you take the glasses off, and this dude just looks around.
It was a good pick. You know, I can.
Kyler Phillips.
It's good for me. I'm gonna get loose in there, and I'm gonna
featherweight against Brad, and Kyler Phillips. He's got the big manly fucking beard, but see, and they just called him the nerd. Brad Katona, the tough ass nerd. It's funny how you put a pair of glasses on, all of a sudden you're a nerd. Nerd, badass. We're so stupid. Human beings are so stupid. We're so cultish. But I'll tell you, I walk up to some guy and he wants to start a fight with me, and I have my glasses on, and he's like, nerd, nobody's scared. I have my glasses off, my big beard. I'm a big dude, though. Nobody wants to fuck with me. We're stupid. Human beings are stupid. A stupid species. We're the smartest. We're the stupidest species out there, except for every other one.
Light heavyweight champion of the world, Daniel Cormier. Listen, DC, it's gotta feel good for you to get that.
And they got Tough Talk on. They got Daniel Cormier on with Karen Bryant. Of course, these guys weren't on there live tonight. So these guys have to sit, all 15 of them, have to sit in that house. 16 of them, excuse me. One guy with 15 other guys have to sit in that house for 10, 12 weeks. And you might have already lost, but you can't be telling people who lost because you can't spoil the show. So you got to stick it out. That being said, they treat these guys very well. They feed them very well. The house is very nice. Obviously, they don't have to pick up after themselves. You know, they got maids, basically servants. They get world-class training all day long. It really is like Enter the Dragon. And I imagine Jason, I'm sure, has seen Enter the Dragon. I imagine you being a Bruce Lee fan. Many of it's been a Bruce Lee fan. That's what I thought of. That's why I was so excited. The first season, The Ultimate Fighter came out, season 1. I thought, we've come full circle. This is like Enter the Dragon, when the dude, the Claw dude, invites all these people from all over the world to this island to fight in this tournament, and they give them the greatest food, and there they give them women. And in Ultimate Fighter, supposedly they don't get women, so I don't know. I know a few guys have gotten in trouble for trying to escape. One guy jumped the fence one week, I think, and went out and got some alcohol or something. I can't remember about that, what happened there. But they've let him have alcohol in the house. It's been off and on different seasons, I know. But obviously, for entertainment purposes, having alcohol in the house is great. But if you're training for a fight, if I'm training for a fight, I'm not drinking alcohol. I mean smoothies with Diego Sanchez. But on there interviewing Joe Giannetti. So how does it feel getting first win in the octagon? Dude, snapped that neck. Snapped that choke on. Joe Giannetti, winner of the day. Hero of the day. Anybody that's still on here, did you guys see my 420 post? Jason, did you see my 420 post? I'll talk about it a little bit. It's a private stream on Friday. Of course, tomorrow's MMA Live at 5. Friday, it's a private stream. It's 420. It's April 20th. Yep. I was not a guy that got high in high school. I had a few beers here and there. I was tested nationally, and I wasn't interested in it. But I'm as eccentric as guys they come. I'm pretty easily excitable, anyways. I don't really need drugs. I've tried edibles. I think it's twice now, though. Dude,
John Gunther was a great guy.
It was one of two of the craziest experiences of my entire life. And I will admit, the first time, this was this year because we just legalized, just as I used to be a stoner when I was younger. I had so many guys trying to give me drugs on the wrestling team. I remember on the wrestling team, and you probably remember things like this. I remember on the wrestling bus, one of my buddies, I'm trying to stay away from him because he's smoking weed on the bus, and he's blowing the smoke through his sleeve out the window. Now, if he gets caught, he's off the team. I'm staying as far away from him as I possibly can. Believe it or not, his name was Jason too. His name was Jason. He was 5'8". He was our 185 pounder. Sophomore year, he benched 400 pounds. But they didn't test us for drugs. In high school, he benched 400 pounds. He was also on steroids and did PCP. So it is what it is. Yeah. You know, those helped. He was stacked, but you know, the PEDs definitely helped him too. That guy was a crazy fucking dude though. 180, my max bench was 200. I got to get back. I'm getting back into the gym right now. I'm hoping I still put up around 240. I'm heavier. I'm walking around. Oh man, I'm walking around a little over 250, almost 260. I was up to almost 300 pounds after I broke my foot. So I lost a little bit of weight. But last time I was in the gym, you know, when I was in heavy, about a year and a half, 2 years ago, I got up to 280. I put up 280. Hopefully I can still put up about 240, but I don't know. I may not even be putting up 200. I don't know. But looking forward to it. Like I said, I'm going to be 40 in September. So I have a goal to get in shape by September. I don't want to go into my 40th birthday looking like I'm 60. So I want to get my body in shape. And you can see the gray's starting to come in. The beard's starting to make me look older. I don't know. But the gray's mostly in the hair. Got to turn to the side with the lighting here. What's up, Yamasaki? Just finished myself. Not much, man. We're just watching The Ultimate Fighter. John Gunther and Giannetti. I can't remember. I think it was Joe Giannetti. Daniel Cormier's guy. He sunk this guillotine on. John Gunther went for the takedown. Joe Giannetti, Daniel Cormier's guy, pulled off this slick guillotine. He sunk it in within 3 seconds. Gunther was completely unconscious. I mean, he just snapped. It was just a snap. And afterwards, he says, he says, I'm snapping necks and cashing checks. So I like that. Little guy shows you have youth with little gray shows you have youth with the experience. That's true, Jason. Little gray's okay. I'm not grabbing the just for men just yet, but I'm not going to any job interviews anytime soon either, though. We got to make this thing work right here. I'm working the 5 a.m. to 1:30, so I'm happy with that job here. So I have time to do this eventually, hopefully every night. But what's up, Yamasaki? Earlier I posted 420, worst tough show ever, post reloaded. The show, the production wasn't so great. That fight, though, that choke, man, that was quick. That was like 3 seconds, and that dude was completely unconscious. John Crazy Eyes Gunther. That's what I call him, was Crazy Eyes. He looked like one of those dudes. Have you guys seen the horror movie, The Hills Have Eyes? That's what John Gunther looked like. Now, he's still in that house. 16 guys. He's still in that house. You wake up in the morning, and that guy's standing over your bed with those crazy eyes. I'm ready to go home. I'm ready to go home. I don't mean to pick on the guy, but I'm going to pick on the guy. So I guess I do mean to pick on the guy. The MMA host, see you on 420. All right, we'll see you on 420, dude. It is a private stream. I said, though, unfortunately, everybody, you're going to have to donate $4.20 to the PayPal, paypal.me/fights with friends, or hit me up on the super chat. If one person wants to pay for a couple other people, but you will have to have a link to the private stream. And I guarantee I'll make it worth you guys' while. People would be calling their mom to pick them up with a guy like that. Absolutely, dude. Holy shit. As a bartender, what's your drink of choice, bro? Who's a bartender? Jason the bartender? I didn't see who was a bartender. I'm not a bartender. Oh, I'm an idiot. Yeah, I like a margarita, man. I like a big ass margarita. I have a lime margarita with a lot of tequila. If I'm talking a mixed drink. Otherwise, beer, I like Belgian whites, Samuel Adams. It depends on what I'm eating. What's up, comedic genius? You asked, I am delivering. You kept on pushing me to do the 420 episode. 420. At 420, I'm doing the episode. The catch is, of course, you got to pay for the link, but it's a very small amount, $4.20. $4.20 to see me act like a fool for 3 hours. It's going to be worth it. Put it up on the big screen. It's way cheaper than a UFC pay-per-view, and you can invite all your friends to watch me on the big screen. All right, Jason, thanks for tuning in, man. I'll see you tomorrow at 5 for MMA Live at 5.
Season of The Ultimate Fighter. That's coming up on Tough Talk.
It is the first episode, of course, post Reloaded. But you said worst tough show ever. I was not impressed with anything they did so far. I mean, I know it was only an hour. They seemed to go more into the story of Gunther than Giannotti. Yeah, I wasn't real impressed with it. Hopefully it gets better. It can't get much worse. Yeah, they really didn't do a whole lot to introduce a lot of the other guys either. They didn't go through training. They didn't go through a lot of the exercises. There's really no drama yet. There's a lot of commercials. I will say that. There was a lot of damn commercials. So I don't know what we get a 40-minute freaking show. That kind of pisses me off. I think that might have been what ruined it the most. Or maybe it's just because I don't watch network TV much anymore. I'm going to dig out of the couch and car seat and find some loose chains for you. All right, comedic genius. You do that, man. Hey. But everybody that's in here, nobody leave yet. And Jason, you still in here? I think Jason might have left. I was going to do this, and I almost forgot. I'm going to give away a link, and maybe Comedic Genius gets this. And the question, first one to answer this question, and in the history of MMA, who has the longest winning streak in the history of professional MMA? It can be UFC, Pride, whatever it is. Longest MMA winning streak. First person to put down the name and preferably how many wins they had. But all you have to do is put down the name, and I will give you a link. You just give me your email, and I will give you the link to save the whole $4.20. So anybody know what MMA fighter won the most fights consecutively in MMA history? It is not Khabib at 26-0. I'll tell you, the guy who did it had over 40 wins. He fought in Pride. That was a good guess, though, Khabib. He fought in Pride. He fought, I think he might have had a fight or two in the UFC. He also fought in K1, but he had over 40 consecutive wins. Jeremy Horn, that's a good guess. I had maybe more fights than just about anybody, but not consecutive wins.
Because I would have to, the 205 division would have been waiting for a while. I'll go back to 205.
I'm gonna give two actually. I'm gonna give two. So two of you, and there's only 4 of you in here now. 2 people can get links. The other question should be easy. That's been on this show. Who that's been on my show has the most wins in MMA? I interviewed him on this show. Who had the most wins? And as a clue, this guy even fought Jeremy Horn. So
when I was a 96 kilogram champ in the U.S., I went up to heavyweight, and every single time I won.
Was not Crazy Horse. No.
I've never lost a heavyweight wrestling match. So every time I wrestle,
I'm giving it to you. I'm trying to give this to you, comedic genius. Come on, I interviewed him on the show. He talked about having hundreds of fights, literally hundreds of fights.
No, I'm not worried about the knockout because
he walks with a cane, dresses like a pimp, and he makes his own hats. He sells hats for $200. Now you got to know it. Not the Malcolm X dude.
But I'm not gonna fear anything.
What about this?
What's up, Tim Hart? How's it going, man? Thanks for tuning in. We just all watched the Ultimate Fighter together. Joe Giovanni choked out John. I can't remember the guy's freaking name. John. I just call him John Creepy Eyes because I'd hate to spend the next 12 weeks with that creepy looking dude in there. But John Creepy Eyes went for the takedown, and Giovanni got sunk in this guillotine choke, and dude was out, like literally completely out in like 3 seconds. You want to look up the replay on YouTube. It was not Sam Smiley LV. Tim Hart for a free link to the 420 stream on April 20th, or anybody else that's in here. 2 questions. I'm giving away 2 links today. The first question is, in the history of MMA, what fighter had the most consecutive wins? He did fight in Pride. I can't remember if he fought in the UFC or not. The second one should be easy. It was on my show. Out of all the guys that I've ever interviewed, what fighter had the most MMA wins?
We know that you've got Kane. We know that your guys are going to get the best wrestling coaching, I believe, possible, right? So your styles.
Comedic genius. I'm not sure if I should give you a link out of pity for that answer or ban you from the stream, dude. Why don't you ask your girlfriend? Pull the chicken away from her. No. Maybe she knows. She says she's a fan.
The Ultimate Fighter, you're not going to reshape these guys. No. You do a trade.
That is funny, dude. That is funny. I don't think he's got as many consecutive wins in the WWE as this. I don't think anybody does. Excuse me. Creepy Eyes is a good name. I will. Thanks for the update on 420. I got both those questions. What's the link again? That's funny. She might know.
I just spent time with my guys when we were away.
If you can answer the questions, email me the answers at fightswithfriends@gmail.com.
Spend time together.
Actually,
if we weren't together,
but if I wake her up, then she'll hit me, and I'll have to feed her again. Is it worth it? I will make it worth your while. Jeez.
Hey, no, it wasn't the can cutting fish, baby. Look at this dude. See
The link, Tim Hart, is what I'm selling for $4.20 to the April 20th 420 stream. It's going to be a private stream. It's going to be private because there's literally things I will be doing on that stream that I will not post publicly. I do not want to post publicly. If you haven't seen the video yet, it is not Pete Spratt. That was a good guess though. I've only had like 12 guys on the show, so process of elimination was not Marcus Davis. Kevin P. Shoney Carter, email fightswithfriends@gmail.com, and I will send you a link for the April 20th stream. I'll send you the link about 4 p.m. because that's when I'll have the link on Friday for the 4:20 p.m. show. It's a private showing. So good job, man. The other question is, what fighter in MMA history, and he fought in Pride, had the most consecutive wins at any time?
What did you do?
Well, I took it like a man.
Well, you probably
I'm surprised that you don't know who Shoney Carter is? Oh man, you're out of here. Come on. The ladies' man, the pimp's pimp, Shoney Carter. Shoney Carter's my bro. Shoney Carter. This is how awesome Shoney Carter is. Shoney Carter, he used to make the hats for Tap Out. He's designed some of their shirts. He designs clothing. He's got over 300 and some fights, just mixed martial arts. He teaches judo. He's got, I think he said, over 1,000 fights completely. He used to fight bare knuckle tournaments. He's fought judo tournaments, wrestling. I mean, dude does everything. Dude is he was on Ultimate Fighter Season 4. Dude was so cool. When I met up with him, he bought me dinner. I felt like the cute girl at the prom. Damn it, Kevin, I had that. Haha, good job, buddy. And it's GSP. Nope, it is not. GSP did not have the most consecutive wins. But GSP did coach on the season with Shoney Carter. So, Tim Hart, you could still get it. I don't know if you Google it, I don't even know if it comes up. You guys could have just Googled it here. I know the answer by heart, but
Earn a free night fast at over 4,200 hotels worldwide. Book now at fastwestern.com and get a $10 gift
might
card
just
with
be able to
every
Google it. So it'll just be a race to who can Google it the fastest.
How about a beer? Rooted in the heart of America. Raised by generations willing to sip, share, risk, remember. This is a story bigger than beer.
It is not Tony. It is not Anderson Silva. And it is not Mighty Mouse. Or Mikey Mouse. Or Mickey Mouse.
We're more than that. We're mouth-watering bread twists, oven-baked sandwiches, pastas, chicken, and pizza. Just $5.99.
Probably find it on Sure Dog. I don't know. That's not my flip phone won't allow me to do double duty.
One Strange Rock, Mondays at 10 on National Geographic.
I'm gonna see when I look it up on Bleacher Report. I'm gonna see if it's
We fixed that. It couldn't be easier. We'll be there in a heartbeat.
see if anybody's got it.
Check us out at pulse.com.
Travis Fulton had 22 consecutive wins. He was not the winner, but he was one of the notable top guys.
In a heartbeat, 7 days a week. Check us out at pulse.com. Pulse.
Shane Carwin actually had 12 wins in a row. Jeff Monson had 16 wins. Surprising how many. I didn't know how many wins some of these guys have. I didn't realize Jeff Monson had 16 wins. Actually, but like I said, the winner of this, it has over 40. Jose Alzo had 12. Waddell had 10. Hayato Sakurai, not Sakuraba, had 18. Shot Evans actually had 13. Machida had 16. Jeremy Horn, you guessed him. He had 21. He actually had a 21. So that was a good pick. He actually had a 21 fight win streak and a 16 fight win streak. So that's pretty freaking impressive. Gilbert Melendez had 13. Matt Hughes had 13. John Fitch with 21 wins does not have many notable names, but one of his streaks is 11 wins, includes victories over Justin Ehlers, Dan Christensen, Wes Sims, Travis Fulton, and Forrest Griffin. Dan Severn is 52 years old with 99 wins and a schedule. This is a little old. So he's had over 100 wins now. Gegard Mousasi actually had 15 wins. Fedor, I thought somebody was going to guess that way before. It's not Fedor. I believe Fedor was 26-0. I had 26 consecutive wins. It is not Fedor. Hector Lombard had 22 wins in a row. Vanderlei had 16. Boss Rutten with 21. Anderson Silva with 14.
This guy running around.
I was wrong about Fedor had 27 actually, and I was wrong about this guy's wins. He did not have 43. He actually had 37. So notable. I'll give you even notable victims. Paul Varlins, Gary Goodrich twice, Akira Shozi, Edison Carvalho, Kazushi Sakuraba, and Alexandra Tsuka. He was also a K1 fighter, one of the best kickboxers, known as one of the best kickboxers ever. I'm going to give you guys like 7 more minutes. It was not Sammy Schiltz. Sammy Schiltz that's a good choice though. This guy, he's fought Sammy Schiltz before. I think he even actually trained with him. Some people called him Frankenstein. I don't know. Almost everybody's gone. I'm gonna give you 7 minutes though, Comedic Genius. You can even leave and Google it and come back. I'm really trying to help you out here, Comedic Genius. Most consecutive wins in MMA history. Anybody know it? Like I said, it was 37 wins. Who was it?
This is my way of describing Michael Brantley.
Guy beat Paul Varlins, Gary Goodrich twice, Akira Shozi, Edson Carvalho, Kazushi Sakuraba, and Alexandra Tsako in that streak.
It takes a groundbreaking company like Dell, a family of 7 technology leaders working behind the scenes to make the impossible.
All right, almost everybody's gone. It says 0 on here now. You gone now too, Comedic Genius? I think everybody got man left. Or is this thing correct? Oh, come on. I was gonna give you the link eventually. Comedic Genius. Oh, he left and came back. Comedic Genius, did you leave and come back? We're giving away the 420 link. Here, save you $4.20. What MMA fighter had the most wins in MMA history? He's a Pride fighter. Travis Fulton, 255 consecutive. Travis Fulton did not have 255 consecutive wins.
Let's play. What's your deal? All right, I'm cranking it.
Good try, though, Tim. He did have a long streak. He might have had 255 wins in his career, but he did not have 255 consecutive wins. He was one of the top guys. I think I mentioned him in this list a second ago. I can't remember. He had a lot. Travis Fulton had streaks of 22, 19, and 12 twice. So that's definitely one of the most impressive on this list. Over 200 career victories. Tim Marcus, no, Khabib is not it. Khabib is 26-0. So 26 consecutive wins. He may break it. I did not know this until last week. I knew who the fighter was. I'd watched him fight many times. I did not know he had this record until I was looking for questions for this.
Okay. And what about the Mets rallying against the Nationals? What a big comeback.
So we got one.
Highlights with these guys live for a full hour. MLB Whip Around coming up next right here.
Because he picked the winner, the fighter that I've interviewed with the most wins, and because that was Shoney Carter. So here for the second link, the winner with the most wins consecutively in MMA history. He fought in Pride. He beat Gary Goodrich twice, and this is 37 wins in a row.
I guess throwing hand cards doesn't burn a lot of calories. Cody.
I think most of you guys are going to know who this is when I tell you who it is.
So this could be an issue. Ooh.
We got about 1 minute, 8:30 is the deadline. We got a few more seconds here. And I'm going to give you guys the answer. And you guys may or may not be kicking yourself. I don't know if you'll remember this fighter or not. I definitely remember him. I used to watch the Pride DVDs back in the day. I still have a ton of the Pride DVDs. And I'll keep them even though all the fights are on Fight Pass. And I have Fight Pass. All right. It is 8:30.
It's time to get to work.
37 wins in a row. The fighter with the most consecutive wins in MMA history from Pride Fighting Championship was Igor Vonshenchin. 37 victories. Igor Vonshenchin. So if anybody ever asks you again who in MMA had the most consecutive wins in history, that's your answer. I really wanted to give it to you, comedic genius. All right. Well, Kevin P wins the link for tonight. You're going to get another chance tomorrow, comedic. Actually, you're going to get two chances. Tomorrow on MMA Live at 5. And tomorrow on MMA Live at 5, we're also looking possibly to have the Guardo brothers. They recently came on the stream today. One of their brothers, Angel, is fighting for the lightweight championship for Cage Warriors on May 12th, making his push to get into the UFC. And Guardo brothers just joined the family today. They became subscribers, so we'll hopefully have them on the show tomorrow and find out more about them, and then hopefully watch their fight, all of us together on May 12th. We'll tune into, of course, May 12th is also it's a big Bellator fight. It's also Amanda Nunes versus Raquel Pennington, UFC. I've said in the past that I wouldn't get a UFC. I said I wouldn't get Cyborg versus Skyovic. I ended up getting it. I've gotten every pay-per-view since I've started this. I'm not planning on getting that pay-per-view. Tomorrow, MMA Live at 5 p.m. Pacific. Every Thursday, man. You're the one who pushed for this committee, Gene, so I really want you to be able to win it. So, or you can pay the $4.20, or anybody can pay the $4.20. $4.20, you'll get the link. The reason it's a private show is after this is over, I most likely will never want this stream from April 20th to be seen publicly for a number of reasons. All right. I do have to work at 5 a.m. tomorrow, so I'm going to start wrapping up for bed. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Congratulations to Kevin P. For getting the answer to one of the trivia questions. Like I said, tomorrow, May Live at 5, I'll give away 2 more links. Study up, comedic genius. Study up. or look through your couch cushions and get that $4.20. You might have to roll your girlfriend over and off the couch. Look under the KFC bucket.
Money well spent.
All right, guys. Thank you very much. Like I said, good night. I will see you tomorrow at 5. As always, I love you. I respect you. Tomorrow.
100 games with the Red Sox winning tonight, and still they have some players who haven't been able to contribute full.